Well, this is my first time beach hunting, and so far we got here an hour before the low tide, figuring it would be going out. It seems like it's coming in still. I don't know. It just ain't working out quite the way it says. I mean, I put in Hollywood Boulevard, you know, and it just said it's going to be out at like 11 o'clock or something like that. Here it's 10:30, tide's coming in, so I don't know the ocean. I admit to not knowing it. And I've got a bunch of signals, but they're all just iron and crap, and pretty much that's a dead area of the beach. From what I can see, there's nothing good, so you know what I'm trying. I got my White's MXT that I've had for a number of years. I don't use it too often. I'm familiar with it. I mean, I used to have a VSAT. There's not much different. And I found all kinds of gold with a VSAT. I've found gold with this up in the hills. I just don't use it that often because I was a dredger. But now that I can't be a dredger, I thought I'd go ahead and try this. So move on down the beach and see if we can find something down there. This area right here is just deader than a doornail. Yep, welcome to Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah. And another thing that's making it difficult, my partner here, Paul. He came down here and showed me this spot. And there's the MXT. We'll go through that in a little bit. Probably when I get back to the house, I'll just kind of put it together. I'm sure most of you guys, you know, pretty much know how to use a metal detector. You just kind of point it and go. There's a lot of little fine tricks you can do, and you know, I know them. Just because I've been using these White's detectors for, I don't know, 20 years, I guess, maybe more.
Talk about the black
maybe
sand.
30. Yeah, and look at all the black sand everywhere. All that's black sand. You got black sand all over the place over here. This is making it a little more difficult. We came down here because it was all black sand mostly. I thought that the heavier black sand is going to add to our finds and maybe make it a little bit easier, but you know, obviously I was wrong. But you know what? We're at the ocean. Going off is right here. I found if you go any higher than like 2.5 to 3, you get that big old signal, you know, so what we're looking for. Turn it on. We know it's already still where we had it. Oh, look at that. What you want to do is pretty much just move it up and down. You can put it to ground it. We'll set your ground. But we're going to have the earphones in. Here, hold this right now. I might just crank it up so we can hear it. Because you want to just barely be able to hear it with the headphones on. Just barely you want to be able to hear it. You got to turn up a little bit louder because of the waves. And you want to go even like this. Or like that. You really want to just make a little bit higher sound when it's going down. And that is just by the gain. What you don't want is to have it quiet or coming up, making it louder when it comes up. You want it louder when it goes down. And really, let's get the setting on it right here already. That's right about where we're at. See, that's too much. So you got to come back a little bit. We're just leaving it right there. That's pretty good. This is better than over there. It was so high, I had all the way down to 3, but up here it's good.
Yeah, just go back and forth.
And just take it and go about half a loop to a loop if you can. Just like that. It's all set. Okay. Then when you find something, see, it says it's a buckle because it's aluminum. And if you want to know what the depth is, you pull the trigger. It says it's 5 to 6 inches. That's because it's 5 to 6 inches over the top. So it actually tells you how deep it is and everything. Okay? Plug it in. Then you're going to want to turn this down. Turn down the volume. or the gain, and it should just go ahead and stay as on its own. Now you should put it on. This is actually the other way around.
Huh?
This is the right ear, I think. What does it say?
Right, it says left.
Okay, cool. That's what I meant. It's right to me, left to you. Yeah. Okay, so just turn this down to where you can barely hear it.
This is the volume?
Yeah. I just cranked it so we can do it right here. So yeah, so you can barely hear it, and then up a little bit so the waves don't drown it out. But you want to be able to hear the deepest targets. I mean, honestly, I don't know. As far as the beach goes, if I was in the hills, that's how I would do it. So yeah, I got a clue, you know. I do know how to run my detector, but I've just never ran it at the beach. And it's like, this is a brand new thing I'm doing, man, and this is really cool, you know. We're down here on the Pacific Ocean coast here in San Francisco, you know, and right now we're just down here looking around and having fun. I know I say Hollywood Boulevard, and you guys all know I just really can't tell you where I'm at when I'm out looking for gold, because the way I look for it sometimes isn't exactly, you know, the best way of doing it, I guess. I mean, it's totally okay, and it's on private property, so I just don't want to say where the private property is, or, you know, I say, yeah, you know, I'm on the Smith property, you know, and we're right here at 1461 Hollywood Boulevard, right behind the house. No, we're not going to do that. But we are at Hollywood Boulevard, as always. I just use that for my excuse, you know, because I'm out here having fun. I can't really tell you where I'm at, because why give away my secrets? But this is no secret here. This is just the beach. This is the coast, and I'm out here for the first time, and, you know, we're going for it. We're gonna find the pirate's treasure today, man. We're not looking for like a quarter or a dime or a piece of 8. We want the whole box, baby. That's what I'm looking for. So we're in a pirate area. There was caves all along where we're at right now. Originally, back in the day, they got filled in or, you know, blasted up by the state of California. But we actually have pirate caves up and down the coast right above us. We're in a well-known area for pirate treasure. At one time, years ago. Nowadays, we'll see what happens. You know, hopefully we find something. I'd be happy with a fish hook right now. So, you know, it's the long hair shit. You know, I hate long hair. On me, I don't mind other people, but my sister really begged me to let it go this time, and she does pretty much all the time because she's a beautician and likes me to let my hair go so she can cut it and be the loving sister that she really is. You know, I'm lucky to have, you know, 2 good loving sisters. My sister Laura, my sister Michelle, who's the one that wants my hair to go out. So it's like, yeah, you know, I'll let it go as long as I can stand it, and then I'll get my razor and shave it all off again like usual, you know. But for right now, let it go as it is, you know. And I mean, I've always been, you know, Lucan's Gold Mining Company, you know, my grandpa started back, or my great-grandpa started back in 1903, and I've been using that forever as my company name. But now I got different partners and stuff, and I'm not out doing it alone. I got Paul and Imran, and they had, you know, PIE. Everybody wants a slice of the pie, but E disappeared, and now R is here, which is me. So we're thinking about calling it RIP prospecting. What do you think? RIP prospecting. You don't like it? Rest in peace. Yep, there's Paul. This is his first time using my metal detector. And I really like the White's MXT, man. You know, I tried it out here. We thought we'd just walk together with the headphones off, but, you know, like I said, I'd never been to the ocean prospecting before. And the waves were just too loud. I couldn't hear it even when I had the threshold maxed out all the way. So, you know, you can turn it right back down almost to nothing, just up like maybe to 2 or 3 with the headphones on. And those are good headphones. I've been using those. I've had the, you know, I've run mine labs. I've had a, what was it? GP Extreme was the last mine lab I had. And we got a, well, I don't know what it's called now. It's a 5000 or something like that Imran got. We picked it up. I showed him how to use that here a while back. We'll get a video of that here soon enough. But, you know, we're running down here on the beach and stuff. Sitting right here. The MXT is a good all-around machine. Are you going to find... Let's talk about the machine, okay? We've got gold machines. You've got like your Goldmaster series. You know, is the MXT even going to compare to the old 10 or 15-year-old VSAT as far as finding gold? No, it's not designed for it. You're going to find larger pieces, even with the gold loop on there. You're not going to be able to find the small pieces or get as many signals as you can with the VSAT, because it's designed for gold. But here on the beach, that would just go crazy. And what I like about the MXT is it tells you what you found: $1, you know, $1 gold piece, silver dollar, a penny, copper, a belt buckle, or whatever. Which is why I switched to that one, because really, for the most part, I've never been much of a detectorist, you know. And that's the main thing. I haven't been much of a detectorist because we had dredging, but I've had the detectors. And when I finished up the sluice box in my hydraulic mining video, part 6, I went back down there with this detector here, and I found more gold down there. So I mean, this will find gold. The MXT does find gold with the gold loop on there, but it's just not as sensitive as, say, the Goldmaster series or the MineLab series. And the only reason I don't have MineLab anymore is because I didn't use it enough to warrant having a machine that's, you know, like $5,000 brand new. You know, I mean, yeah, did I pay $5,000 for a detector? Me, El Cheapo himself? You know? I mean, come on. You know me, there ain't no way I'd pay that kind of money for it at all. And so what happened was, oh, going the wrong way. And so what happened was, I mean, Imran, he picked up a good deal, you know, on the 5000, the GPX 5000 or GP 5000 MineLab gold machine, and it came with all the loops, you know. And I've used it, and I showed him how to use it, because like I said, I had the GP Extreme. I had another one before that. I can't remember what it was called. Was it 2000 or 2200, GPX 2200, GP 2200 MineLab? And to be totally honest with you, I never found any more gold with those great big, you know, $2,000 to $4,000 detectors than I did with my old, what some people would call a piece of shit MineLab. I mean, a piece of shit VSAT, which is a White's VSAT. And you can get those for like 200 bucks. Because this is the point, you know. The only way you're going to find this stuff is if you're out there actually using it. You can buy all the equipment in the world and let it sit in your garage, you know, or sit in the closet. But if you don't use it, why have it? So I went down to Pioneer one day, and this was the last day that they carried MineLab. And what had happened was, you know, and I can talk about this stuff nowadays, Frank, because you're not there no more. Frank retired, my buddy, you know, from Pioneer Mining, you know. He retired here like July 1st this year or something like that, I can't remember. And so, I mean, he's still working on Wednesdays and that kind of stuff. Just helping out Heather and her husband, you know, run the shop. But so I walk into Pioneer, and there's Frank, and he's just cussing these guys out on the phone. You don't ever have anything I'm looking for. Anytime I need parts, it's not there. Every time I try and call up, you give me some line of BS, and you never ever send me what I want on time. And he slams the phone down. He is as pissed off as I've ever seen him before. But what's the best time to go see Frank when you want a good deal? When he was pissed off. Because I mean, I've done tens of thousands of dollars worth of business with him. I mean, so we're good friends. I've known him, and you know, he's made lots of money off of me. And so I walk in there, he sees me, and he had 2 more of the GP Extremes, or 3 more of the GP Extremes. He goes, "That's it. I'm done. I'm never gonna sell another MineLab again. Here, you want this? I'll sell it to you for cost, 1,800 bucks. Right now with all the stuff, loop, case, the extra loops, you know." And he goes, "You want it?" I go, hell yeah. He goes, I want cash. And I'm like, okay. So I went across the street to the bank, got out the money, came back, gave him his $1,800. And he's like, man, maybe I shouldn't have spoke too soon. No, I can't say that. He was really pissed. He wanted to get rid of those mine labs because he was sick and tired of not being able to get parts and get nothing but a line of crap from the guys when it came for maintenance and that kind of stuff. And this is just, you know, this is actually for the people that sell the material. As far as I was concerned, I've never had a problem. I actually still own a mine lab, and a mine lab Excalibur 1200, I think it's called, which is an actual underwater mine lab. I use that quite a bit, and I'll be using that at a different beach, not this one here. So anyway, yeah, I picked up my brand new mine lab with all the loops for 1,200 bucks. I mean, for 1,800 bucks. You know, it was a hell of a deal, just a hell of a deal. And I, you know, went on to the Nugget Shooter forums. It's where you learn, you learn how to run the mine labs and make all the little tweaks to it. I made all the tweaks to it. It sat in my house. Chris, Ralph, and I went out once with it, you know, and he brought his. I took mine. I went out with some other friends that are really well-known metal detectorists, you know, around the area, you know, deep into the canyons where it, you know, it takes you an hour to walk down and 4 hours to walk out, or at least me, you know, back in those days. Nowadays, I wouldn't even try and go down there, at this point in time anyway. And so that's that. That's how I, you know, started in, that was my second mine lab. I ended up selling my 22 SD after that, my 2200 SD. I went ahead and put on eBay, and I got exactly what I was looking for it. But then, you know, the mine lab, it's like, I took it down to the sluice box before we found the sluice box, and I'd already gone through the whole area with the VSAT. I didn't even get a signal with the mine lab. And what I'm trying to say is, the larger the head that you have on there, the less sensitivity. It's going to find the bigger nuggets deeper, but it's not going to find the small stuff closer to the surface even. So really, if you're looking for gold, you need to use the smaller loop, the smallest loop you can get. Or like for the new Gold Masters, they have the nice little bar. It's like about this big. I actually sold one to my buddy who runs a Western Mining Alliance, Rick Solinsky. And it had the nugget loop on there. And that's really good for going into cracks and stuff. And, you know, I highly recommend all the whites materials because, number one, okay, they're made for here in America. Okay, Mine Lab is made to be used in Australia. It's an Australian detector. It's made to be used in Australia. Where the whites is made here in America, made to be used here in America, and it's designed for our beaches, you know, our gold-bearing areas. And so that's it, you know, but what I really wanted to point out on that right now was the smaller the loop, the more gold, the more targets you're going to dig and find. The big loops, you see the guys out there with these great big, you know, 24-inch loops and all that. Hey, you know what? If you're on Australia looking for the great big deep nugget, that's one thing. But when you're here in California, where you got a bunch of little fingernail-sized nuggets, you know, I had a 9x12 elliptical on mine, mono loop, and I found gold with that too. I found all kinds of gold with that. But that was before I realized if I would have gone down just to the regular 9-inch coil, you know, as small as I can get it, the smallest coil, I would have been finding more gold. It's better to find more gold that's smaller than to not find any gold that's big and deep. I mean, do you want to dig a target that's 6 feet deep? I went down to the American River one day, and the guy was down there with a mine lab, and he was digging and digging and digging and digging. He's like, he got one heck of a target. He went down 5 feet, and he came up with one of those little A-frame road things, you know, it had a little metal bar on it. It had the had the angle iron. It was the angle iron, you know, road stop. Back in the day, they were made out of metal. And so he dug down 4 feet in the gravel of the American River just to find that, and he spent like 2 hours digging it out. The funny part about it was, when he got down to it, it had a little yellow light on it. The light was still blinking, like, hello, maybe you should get a smaller loop, you know, that wouldn't have gone so deep. You know, or something with discrimination, which is why I like the MXT. It not only has a discrimination, which you also have with the VSAT and the mine labs when you know how to use them. You know the sounds, you learn what a nail sounds like when it's got a double beat, you know, or a hot rock, you know, kind of goes boing, you know. So anyway, he spent all that time down there, and I went down there to where he was with my little VSAT, about 30 or 40 feet from him, and we pulled out over an ounce of gold, smaller gold. I found a spot that just went brrr, brrr, just like a machine gun going off. And there was so many hits right there, it was like, what do you do? I put my metal detector down, I got out my gold pan and started digging, found this crack down there, and it was just full of gold. It had nuggets, it had fines, and that was my friend Tom Akins and I. And we spent pretty much the whole summer in that whole area. But that one time we went down there, that one little crack, we got an ounce of gold out of there. But there was no nuggets. I mean, no big nuggets. Nothing bigger than, you know, maybe fingernail size like this, you know. But it was there, you know. And that was with just a regular little VSAT. And I love that VSAT, man. And I sold it for like 200 bucks. And ever since that day, I've been kicking myself because that was the best gold detector I ever had. And that's a good gold detector, you know. Was the Mine Lab better? Maybe in Australia, but here in America, use an American detector. Mine Labs are good, there's nothing wrong with them, and I've actually sent my Excalibur in for maintenance on it, sent it in, got it back, and they didn't even charge me labor. I mean, I have nothing wrong with Mine Lab as far as I'm concerned. You know, I was just with the dealers back in the day when the Mine Labs first started, you know, getting popular here in the U.S. They just couldn't support all the extra business that they had going on. But as far as customer service, top notch. Just like White's. White's is top notch also. I've never had a problem with either of them. I've got an old White 6000 DI Pro from the 1970s, back when I used to screw around back in those days, just looking for coins and stuff. But now we got people down here fishing now, and Paul's over here looking around, and I guess I've talked enough. This is a pretty good video. Hey, you know what? This is RIP prospecting. Used to be PIE. Used to be Lucan's Gold Mining Company. Still is Lucan's Gold Mining Company. Still is PIE. But another good video. Sitting here at the ocean, watching the waves and the people. Not many people, just Paul and myself, and now there's one other person down here. You know. Y'all have a good one. God, that stuff tastes like, man, check out this loogie, man. This is the most awesome loogie. Check that out. Have you ever seen a loogie that good? That's right. Only from RIP prospecting you'll see a loogie like that. That's a jellyfish. I tricked you, it's not a loogie. But yeah, it's a jelly. See if you can turn it over. Without really, it'll probably kind of mess it up. It's not alive, it's up here on shore. But that's a jellyfish, man. Tentacles and all. I guess it won't do nothing turning it over. Yeah, what a trip, huh? Jellyfish, yeah. I've seen them, but, yep, looks like a loogie to me.